Wouldn't you know it? March is practically halfway over. That is wild to me. St. Patty's Day will be here before we know it. March Madness, all those fun things are coming. Let's talk about not so fun things, and that is want rates. Look at this team, 6.4 showing up on the Mortgage News Daily. We were, as you remember, we were just so excited just a wee 2 weeks ago about 5.99 or 5 point whatever it was. But here we are back in the sixes, not just sixes, coming up on mid sixes. So this is the 10-year U.S. Treasury. This is what models kind of rates, mortgage rates as best they can. So up in this case is bad. Well, green normally is good. The way this graph works, not so much. That means higher rates. So you can see right there, turn as soon as March came, boom, just got kicked in the face. And all of a sudden, rates are just up even higher than they were before they started this downturn. And why? It's because oil, guys, with all this stuff going on with Iran and the Middle East. And this is what, fundamentally boils down to this oil. Oil is important. Higher oil prices means just higher prices in general because it costs more to get stuff to and from one place, to whether it's driving, whether it's the train, whether it's cost to make it, whatever it is. And then the bottom left, or I guess the left side of this thing, you can see all those little green dots. Those are the oil tankers and the traffic going through the strait. And all of a sudden, not so much anymore. And on the right side, you can see the oil tanker traffic going through, and all of a sudden it just falls off a cliff right at the end of February because basically it's just so freaking easy. And that's what this shows. Look at that little picture inside of a picture over there on the left. Look how narrow that is. And realize, guys, like this isn't a super highway. This is a natural geographic just pathway that exists. And so there's only like one or two lanes in this thing that you can go through. So it is amazing just how much traffic goes through such a concentrated area. So while that happens, PCE, that's inflation numbers. These are for January. And this is what does not bode well for us in the very near future. These are January's inflation numbers, and inflation is up. So what's going to happen when February again comes out, which is going to be kind of probably more the same, maybe a little touch higher just because some numbers from last year. But at the end of the day, man, the next 60, 90 days doesn't look so good for rates because once oil and all these comes out in the new reports for March, which is where we're in right now, the March reports, which will come out, call it May, right? Maybe April or May. And those reports come out, it's going to be even more inflation because of just what this oil is doing to us. So not great is what it is. This is February data. So again, has nothing to do with the oil stuff we just talked about, but the affordability index still, it's not quite flat. I mean, it's better than going up and up, but the affordability index now, you can see what it's been for the last 3 years and how the good news is when rates go down, how does it get more affordable? Rates go up. You can kind of see what's been happening, but it's also, as more sellers and more builders are out there, sitting, they might be willing to make a deal, but that hasn't happened for a year. People are like, I'm going to wait for the housing bubble to, pop. Look, good luck. I'm waiting with you, but I don't think it's going to happen. So here's the quote unquote good news. I'm using air quotes for good news. The median age, and I've seen a bunch of numbers. 40 is kind of what I've heard a lot, and that gets the headlines because I've seen other stats that say it's mid 30s. It used to be 32 to 35. I've now seen 35 to whatever it is, but 40 seems to be one that gets thrown out there a lot. But median age of first-time buyer drops to 35. So it used to be 36, according to this data that we found. That's down from 36 years old, and the peak was 38. So this one says it never hit 40. The repeat buyer, the median age, that's not the average, it's just the one that's in the middle, falls to 47. So it means younger buyers are coming in. The next slide, you can see little fun charts on the right, or repeat buyers, first-time buyers. This one shows that 21% of the market is first-time buyers. Guys, normally that's 31-ish, 32-ish. That's a pretty significant drop for these first-time buyers. And according to this data, it says that the median age is 40. Now, again, that's not average. That's the median age, right? So that's where some of these numbers say it's getting lower, but it's still high. But at the end of the day, it's still high. And I think about my first home, back in the good old days, 20-something years ago, I was 21, 22, probably 22, 23, right? Now, if the median age is 40, I'm like, my gosh, that's crazy to me. 10% is the down payment for these first-time buyers. That's an all-time high since 1989. So The only, I don't say only good news, but good news, morbid news is that, the parents and, all these, the generations above us are getting, they're rich and they're starting to help out with the kids. So maybe that's why the 10% more. And that's kind of the good news to help offset some of these increase in prices. And then lastly, just some more stuff, right? As we mentioned, this was interesting to me. The young baby boomers, compared to the old baby boomers, the young baby boomers are still leading the way for both buyers and sellers. That's what that chart on the bottom means. The young baby boomers, and according to that chart on the upper left, young baby boomers 1955 to 1964. I'm a proud Gen Xer. Right at the end, I'm a 79 model, so I'm still in the Gen X there, but it is interesting to see just how few the Gen Zers are. Millennials, not a lot either, right? So you look at the buyers, which is interesting about the millennials, 12% sellers, 5% buyers, meaning there's more sellers than there are buying. They're selling, and then what are they doing? Maybe renting. That's crazy to me. All right. Lastly, basically, single family homes increasingly used as rentals. This is more of a prelude. I just saw a headline saying that I forget who it was, but somebody in Congress or Senate or wherever passed a notion to see if they can get large institutions from not buying single family homes is investment pools. Like I've heard and seen developments of like 200 homes that builders are just building, all of them meant to be used by large institutions for rentals. And the reason being, when you do that, you're taking away supply for a young, as we just saw, Gen Zer who wants to buy may not be able to do that because it drives up cost. I don't love that because ultimately I'm a capitalist and I believe free markets will work themselves out and I don't need the government in our business. We'll see how that goes. But there you go, 18%, almost one in five, guys. Almost one in five of U.S. single family homes are rentals. That blew me away. I had no idea it was that many. You can see where they are, and Maine. Who knew? 30%. That's crazy to me. All right, product of the week: FHA loans. Can you build a home in Dallas with FHA home with an FHA home? You can. There's different right ways to do it. So certainly it's something that we don't promote a ton, but we technically can do them. So if you have questions or know somebody who does, let us know. And then lastly, having a little fun here: America's most expensive home ever sold. It's a big title. $240 freaking million. 240 million. Let me repeat that. For a penthouse in New York City. Good night. If you know me well, you know that I'm not a fan of New York City. I'll go every decade just because my wife loves it and I do not. That's crazy to me. Florida, the record was 225 million on waterfront. That makes more sense to me than a penthouse for 240 freaking million. And Zuckerberg enters the list with $170 million Miami mansion. Good for him. That seems like chump change for him, but good for him. And there you have it, folks. Tony Parker, last one. He slashed his home from $9 million. You just heard me. 240 million for a penthouse in New York for a mere $9 million. From 11 million, 20 million to I'm sorry, slashed at 9 million. He went from 20 million to 11 million. So 11 million bucks, 53 acres. 53 acres in San Antonio. To me, that's a cool 11 million spent really well, I think. That's just my take on it. And the most expensive zip codes, you're not going to be surprised. California, Florida, a couple of New York, California, Arizona, just Paradise Valley. I was just out there for our production trip. Had no idea it was that nice, but good for them. And this is it for loan officers. Loan officers right about now, 2078 is going to be my year. I can feel it because it just feels like right when we get started, we get kicked in the gut by oil and all that stuff. And it is what it is. The usual shout out, evidence of success. We love our people. They love us. We do a great job. Good work, team. And as always, you know what to do. Forward, share, subscribe, etc. I will not be around next week for the video. So I'll have one of my good folks in the office step in. Justin's going to do it for us and take good care of you guys. But if you do need something, let us know. We appreciate you. And as always, when you think mortgage, think Mark.